I'm Alex.
And I'm Maddie, and we were interested in the state of cross-cultural communication at Sydney University. Looking around campus, we asked ourselves, how are people grouped together? How do groups and societies interact on campus? How do people interact in the classroom? How does the melting pot, salad bowl and mosaic impact cross-cultural communication on campus?
But first, an introduction to some cultural metaphors. This is the melting pot, a place where many different cultures melt together to form a single culture. This is the salad bowl, a place where you'll find many different cultures which retain their boundaries and individuality. And finally, the mosaic, where cultures retain individuality but connect with certain other cultures to form a larger picture of culture.
I think Sydney Uni is a salad bowl.
I think Sydney Uni is a mosaic.
So, I think Sydney University is a salad bowl. I agree. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I think we're probably more of a melting pot. I don't know. Okay, I think Sydney University is a mosaic.
I think Sydney Uni is a salad bowl.
Yeah, so I just choose this one. It's just okay.
Okay.
Not any more answer.
I think Sydney University is a mosaic.
I think it's a salad bowl currently. That's mine.
Yeah, I was going to go with salad bowl as well.
I think University of Sydney is a mosaic.
I think it's a salad bowl or mosaic. It's in between, but I'll lean towards salad.
As we discovered, Sydney University has many diverse students with an equally diverse range of ethno-cultural clubs and societies. In 2014, 23% of students at the University of Sydney were international students. Of these, 60% were from East Asia, 13% from Southeast Asia, and 12% from the Americas. The University of Sydney website says that the university actively encourages diversity and inclusion.
To investigate the reality of this, we asked Ishraq from the Sydney University Bangladeshi Student Association and Kris from the University of Sydney Hokkien Students Association about their experiences. Kris and Ishraq had different perspectives on whether Sydney University was a melting pot, salad bowl, or a mosaic. This was influenced by their personal experiences on campus, socially, and in the classroom.
I think Sydney University is kind of mosaic because in terms of our association, our student association, is like totally separate from Australian students because not that much Australian students are participating in this association, and most of the members in our club are from Hokkien, from the same place, so they are totally just a separate group from the all these students here. But we also like make friends with Australian, with local students, with American students. We are totally just fun making friends with each other.
Kris saw Sydney University as more of a mosaic. She found that students tended to socialise with students that had a similar cultural background. She felt like a bit of an outlier compared to other mainland Chinese students. Ishraq, on the other hand, saw Sydney University as more of a melting pot.
I prefer the melt into one because I don't know for why, maybe for the assignments, because when we are doing the assignments from every country's people, we sit together and do the assignments, and after that maybe have some we go for some hangout or something to get refreshed, and that time I say we melt into one because they don't like to remain separate or something.
Ethno-cultural clubs and societies play an interesting role as one of the faces of multiculturalism and cross-cultural communication on campus. One perspective is that clubs and societies encourage separation of people by dividing along ethno-cultural lines. Alternatively, some see clubs and societies as providing a forum for cross-cultural exchange and collaboration.
They can introduce their culture. I am from Bangladeshi society, so I can say that we are here to introduce our culture. Everyone who has interest in my country, I want to invite them to visit our country or just come to our society. We can explain. We have some programs, parties you can attend, and you can get to know, and we welcome all those things. And I think all the societies have the same intention to expand and get to know to others and like show to others this is our culture, this is us.
Ishraq seemed optimistic about his society's role as an educator on campus and as a way to bring students from diverse backgrounds together. Let's see what Kris said.
Yes, but most of them are Chinese-based clubs, like Chopsticks, like Australian Chinese youth clubs, things like that. I think language could be one of the reasons because most of our members don't really speak English that well.
Okay.
And also we are separate from our family with our country, then we feel a need to get together with the people from the same region, the same country.
It definitely seemed like the Hokkien Student Association and other mainland Chinese clubs and societies were a forum for students with that cultural background to meet and form connections separate from students from other cultural backgrounds. Part of this might be the student populations associated with each club and society. While there are many Chinese students at Sydney University, there aren't many Bangladeshi students. It seems like the relative populations of cultural groups on campus influences their experiences with cross-cultural communication. Similarly, the course that a person is taking and the cultural makeup in the classroom can also influence a person's experience.
We investigated further and sought the help of Heinz, a tutor in the School of International Business Studies, Emanuela Moretto, a lecturer in Italian Studies, and Bonnie Stanway, a researcher with the International Business School. When posed with the three cultural metaphors, the academics' answers were all the same.
So definitely for me, I would say it's the mosaic.
I would say more a mosaic. Yes.
So perhaps the mosaic.
The personal experiences informing their answers were all different, but the academic agreement contrasted the range of views given by students. For Heinz, the makeup of the particular class had a big impact on his experience.
Why it's very difficult to be, to be effective for a Chinese student, and then for an American student, and for a Norwegian student, it's difficult. So I try and make them understand from my perspective. Okay, so getting them on my level, that usually works quite well.
Emanuela's role as a teacher of language, on the other hand, gave her a unique perspective.
Yes, so students, they retain their individuality and in some cases they connect to one another. Having the experience of teaching in a foreign language, I can actually say that by using Italian in this specific case as a sort of bridge that unites all the students in the class, that is the way for my students to connect. Because they have a common purpose of establishing basically communication in a foreign language.
And Bonnie's answer was heavily influenced by her research into the internationalisation of curriculum within the International Business School.
Well, I have this theory with the university and with Sydney and Australia in general. It's very multicultural, so there are many cultures that exist and coexist, but whether or not it is intercultural is another question. So I feel like melting pot doesn't really work because it almost assumes that everyone sheds their cultural coat that they're wearing and becomes the norm. So perhaps the mosaic, with everyone coming together and bringing their own bits and pieces. Salad bowl, for me, takes it a little too far.
The University of Sydney has a reputation for being a destination for international students. So what do people think about the role Sydney University plays in facilitating cross-cultural communication? Has the Sydney University Mosaic emerged with or without the support of the university? Let's go back and see what Heinz thinks.
Sometimes I feel like Sydney University, besides maybe, on a university level anyway, maybe they do it in the first week and second week and the last week. through maybe exchange programs, maybe cultural things. Unfortunately, during the semester, everyone's too busy with work, and even if they do have events, from what I hear, secondhand knowledge, it's not as popular, obviously, because everyone's worrying about their assessments and how well they do.
Emanuela was a bit more optimistic.
It does indeed. And I'm always quite pleased when I see the orientation day to see all the different stalls that belong, to the different communities, to the different even political groups. So that's what university should be. Said that, I need to be a little bit critical on that side, because one thing is encouraging diversity on paper, and the other thing is actually putting diversity into practice. So from the point of view of the teacher, we go back to teaching styles. You can't make it one that fits all. So you really have to develop a cross-cultural understanding of the people that you have in the class. Again, I teach smaller cohorts of students. I'm not sure how I would deal, with larger groups.
Bonnie, on the other hand, acknowledges the work that the university is doing, but sees the integration of different cultures on campus ultimately as the responsibility of the individual.
Facilitating multiculturalism or interculturalism is a hugely challenging task because there's the problem of whether everyone should conform to the dominant culture or conform to a mishmash of your melting pot of cultures, or whether there's a way that people can hold on to their own culture and still interact and experience other cultures in a truly intercultural way. I think the university is and will get better and better at that over time as the cultural makeup of the campus changes over time. They'll need to, and they have already taken actions to do that. But it is incredibly challenging, and I think as a university they can only try, and then it's down to the individuals to try and do their best to cross those borders and understand different cultures and share their own experiences about their culture and things like that. So I think the university has a role in that, but it's ultimately up to an individual.
So, ideas about the status of cross-cultural communications on campus seems to be hugely dependent on a person's personal background and personal experiences. Some generalisations can be made from the data we've collected, that students generally think Sydney University is more of a salad bowl or mosaic, and that academics agree that Sydney University is a mosaic. The university seems to be playing a minor but growing role in bringing students together and developing cross-cultural communication skills on campus through initiatives like ethno-cultural club stalls at Owing. But it seems that a majority of interaction is driven by the university population rather than the institution.
One thing that really excites me about Sydney University is that you can be sitting in a library, one of the libraries, or you can be walking down Eastern Avenue and you cannot hear a word of English. And I personally think that that's something to be really proud of. I think that the university has brought together a huge number of different cultures, and sometimes it's really difficult to tell where anyone is from. So hearing those languages on campus is a really good signpost to show how multicultural the campus is. And I'm fully supportive of that. So I actually get, a warm feeling in the chest sometimes when I cannot hear English.
The question then arises, does the university need to be more proactive in encouraging cross-cultural education in order to produce global graduates? Or is more selective cross-cultural communication in the Mosaic model a part of life at Sydney University?